Since I have mentioned President Obama's mistake in not knowing simple matters, such as how many members of Congress Arkansas has, let me also comment on one consistent fact about government predictions. They're almost always wrong. When Governor Beebe was touting how much money he would be raised from the severance tax, at the time the severance tax was increased, natural gas was fluctuating somewhere between $12 and $14. Governor Beebe made promises on conservative estimates of $8 natural gas. We've seen natural gas drop below $4, and now it's somewhere around $4, $5 trading, well below his conservative estimates of $8 natural gas. Now let's take a look at Governor Beebe's lack of performance, or what I say is his AWOL performance, during the health care debate. First, through his spokesman, the governor told us that while he didn't like the fact that it increased burdens on states, the rest of the bill, he had no opinion. And I can tell you, when I'm going to Walmart and I'm facing the people in my district, they want to know my opinion. And the people of Arkansas, and my constituents, deserve the respect to know where I stand on such a bill.
Thank you.
Right before, the only statement coming out of the governor's mouth was that he was concerned about the bill before the vote. To me, that's almost like your house burning down and having a fireman say he's only concerned about the fact that your house is burning down. A majority of Arkansans opposed the bill and took the time and effort to let our delegation know how they felt. And our governor's only effort was to have no opinion and be concerned. The people of Arkansas deserve better than an AWOL performance on such a major issue. In short, Governor Beebe should have shown more courage in defeating this bill. In a democracy, you can only ignore the will of the people for so long and get away with it. Public officials are going to be held accountable by those they have placed their trust in.
Amen.
Today is about restoring the trust of the people. And I'm going to turn it over to Representative Greenberg and then Representative Hutchinson.
Representative Greenberg said I could go first, and I'm going to be very, very short. I'm State Representative Donna Hutchinson. I'm on the Joint Budget Committee, and I'm going to quickly explain to you the problem that the state of Arkansas will have with this health care program. I agree with Governor Beebe. This is going to cost us $100 to $200 million added to our budget, and we can't afford that. You see, there's a problem with the plan. The federal government does say, oh, we're going to take care of 80 to 90% of the health care cost. You only have to pay 10%. That's not much. But you see, the problem is the federal government can pay with funny money. They just keep cranking it out, printing it, and dispersing it. We have to pay our 10% with real money in a real bank. We can't write a check unless we have real money in a real bank. And that is going to be a tough job when we are a state that must balance our budget. Let me make it very, very simple. Let's say I have a friend named Fred, and he comes up and says, Donna, our good friend Charlie is going through a rough time. If you give him $10,000, I'll give him $50,000. And I say, well, Fred, that's nice, but my checkbook doesn't look much different than Fred's. I mean, I'm struggling too. I don't have $10,000 to give to Fred. And he says, well, if you give $10,000, I'll give $100,000. Well, that's great, but I don't have $10,000. He says, I'll sweeten the pot. I'll give him $100 million if you give him $10,000. I don't have $10,000. And that's basically what we're trying to tell the federal government. This is an unfunded mandate. They want us, who must balance our budget with real money, to pay with real money, and they want to pay their share with funny money. And our problem is, I don't think we can afford the federal government's charity. This is an unfunded
we're entitled to as citizens and human beings in Arkansas and in America. We are not confined to action on the federal level. We can take action on the state level, and that is, if I am sent back to the General Assembly next session, that is what I intend to do, and I think that is what many legislators intend to do. So let me say just a few words about some concrete policy measures we can take on the state level. First, you're probably aware that in Arkansas we have just a few insurance providers, but around the country we have hundreds of insurance providers. But by and large, the law prevents us from buying insurance contracts from out-of-state vendors. I think we need to open that up. I filed a bill last session. I intend to continue working on this. We need to open it up so that we can have more choice and more competition and more accountability in the market for insurance. This is going to lead to better health and lower prices because it's going to lead to more competition. And so I think probably one of the most important things we can do is make sure that we have a thriving market in insurance. I think it's ridiculous that we have a competitive market in insurance in other states, but in Arkansas, we're confined to just a few vendors. We need to have a mandate review process. Mandates are benefits that are placed on every insurance policy that's sold in Arkansas that says you have to cover this condition, this condition, this condition, this condition. We have about 40 mandates here in Arkansas. Some of those mandates are not required in just about any other state. And so because mandates increase the cost of health insurance by, depending on who you talk to, depending on which expert you interview, mandates increase the cost of health insurance by somewhere between 5% and 20% of your health insurance bill, everybody's health insurance bill. We need to have a process to make sure that those mandates are scientifically justifiable, that they're worth the increased cost. And so I certainly intend to work for and pass a bill that's going to review every mandate of scrutiny and make sure that it really inures to the benefit of the people and not to the benefit of just a few lobbyists and special interests.